Welcome to the most efficient clickbait of our time, procedural generation. No, yeah, for real. Welcome to the first devlog of CastCade. I'm gonna show you how I generate the terrain using wave function collapse because it's a good start. And it's probably one of the most advanced feature I have in the game right now. I've been working on the game for 2 months, so it's really new. What's CastCade? CastCade is a roguelike where you have to fight an evil spirit that is trying to corrupt the spirits of nature. That's the base storyline. I'm not really into story, I'm more into gameplay. It might change in the future, so don't get attached to it. It's kind of a post-it scenario, to be fair. What's the specificity of the game is the fact that everything is generated procedurally, and you have this whole system where you can create runes that are gonna affect the spell you will launch. So it's gonna cascade into different spells, and you can have as much combination as you want. You can put spells together, it's really up to you. By the way, you will notice during the course of this devlog that this video is sponsored by the word and... Okay, so let's get right into it. The algorithm I use for the procedural generation is wave function collapse. Reason being, you can have a lot of input when you generate the world, and it's very important whenever you do procedural generation to be able to have as much input as you can. Reason being, you can end up with a world that seems very random, but the reality is nature works in structures, and you want to be able to input some structure into your generation. You might have seen a lot of examples using wave function collapse, like Bad North. There is also this game where you generate cities, I don't remember the name, and it's very good in general because it works really well. You can really control the art, and it's also very user-friendly when it comes to creating paths for units and stuff like this, so that's why I used it. I'm gonna explain with this very advanced animation how the wave function collapse work. So it's pretty simple. First we get a grid, then we get a bunch of tiles, and each tile are gonna be like, oh wait, what kind of bro can I have? And in some sort of structure, you're gonna say, okay, you can go with him and him, but you can go with him and him. So that's what you see here. This one can go with square and circle, but circle can only go with square and cross, for example. Then after that, we are gonna fill the whole grid with all the tiles. We are gonna pick the first tile, and we are gonna get a random choice. And from there, this tile is gonna be resolved. Then we jump to the tiles that are adjacent, and they are gonna be like, oh wait, my bro changed. Which bro should I have now? So it's gonna check for in the structure, it's gonna check which tiles could work. It's gonna get both tiles, and it's gonna go back to the grid and update those tiles. So now we have this. And what it's gonna do is whenever you solve this system, it's gonna check for its own adjacent tiles. If it does need to update it, it's gonna update it. Otherwise, we are gonna go back to the next cell in the grid. Now this one is gonna pick a random choice between them, and then we solve the adjacent tile. And we keep going until the whole wave function collapse is solved. How this works in Unreal? So the structure I talked to you about here, where I have the tile that define which tile can be adjacent to it, is defined in those data structures, and those data structures just have the name of the tile with the different angles, and then you have all the tile data, which is gonna say, okay, this tile can have this bro and this bro and this bro, and keep going. So that's how it works. So it's gonna look like this. If I hit play, now I have a terrain where each piece is a different tile, and you, oh, too much grass, and you can see the different tiles and how they get resolved. So it's very powerful, and it also offers me a lot of control. Let me show you why. What I do is I have modifiers, and how modifiers work is super simple. All I have to do is, it's an actor, And I can go here and I can say, oh, you know what? I want you to go here and I want you to replace everything you find with basebot 0, for example. And that's all there is to it. And my WFC, I've made it so it's gonna find every modifier available and is gonna use it to affect the terrain. And now here it is. As you can see, I have a path and I can make as much as I want with this. Okay, so I'm gonna show how I generate all the tiles. The software I use is Houdini because it's very powerful and it allows me to do a lot of procedural work, because what I want to do as much as possible is avoid the work. That's my goal. So yeah, how it works, I generate every tiles and I just assign a name to them. So here you can see I have a lot of different tiles. They all follow a simple grid, and I have here lakes and stuff like this. Once all my tiles are generated, I can merge all of them together, and I have this tool here, which is gonna take care of finding by basically checking the points on each side, which tile can go with which. And I'm not gonna go into detail, because if you look at this, it looks like this, and no one wants to know about it, but just know what it does. Once this is done, I can go into this tool. This tool is gonna make sure that every tiles have a side, and it also allow me to have control over what tiles goes with which. It's all procedural too, so it basically takes the data that I'm getting here and it assigns everything from it, but it also allows me to have some manual control. So for example, if I have this angle and I decide that I want this tile next to this one, I can do this, and it's just gonna generate some JSON files, and then I can import them into Unreal. As simple as it gets. Once this is all done, I blast all of them by frame, and I export this. So all I have to do is play, and for each frame it's gonna export a new file. Okay, so once all of this is done, I'm in Unreal, my models are imported, I play, and it's not gonna work. And the reason why it's not gonna work is because I have to say to my WFC, oh, now you have new terrains and you have new data, because I added the lakes which were not here before. So right now I use Terrain Canyon, I'm gonna use Terrain Base, which is the one I have right now here. As you can see, I only have the base, but if I hit re-import, it's gonna bring the JSON file that I just exported, and now I can play, and here it is, we have lakes. So that's why it's so powerful, right? It's so simple for me to add new tiles. What if I wanted to create a new biome? And not with new tiles, but just a different way the biome is gonna look like. It's super simple for me. So right now I have my lakes and I have the mountains, let's call them. What if I just wanted lakes? I can just take this one, I can call this lakes, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove everything that is not lakes. So enjoy the ASMR clicking. So all the angles we don't want the base, we just want the base bot, and we will remove the walls. Save this. I can then say to the WFC, you know what? Oops. Use the lakes. Save this, play, and here it is. Now I only have lake, and it took 5 seconds. The other thing I thought about recently is how everything seems very regular, right? And what I want to do is have a variation of the same tile. Because if you take a tile like this, or even a tile like this one, I want to have a different aspect for it. It's not gonna change the gameplay, it's not gonna affect it, but at least it's gonna look different. And I think it's gonna break the very uniform aspect of it. So I have a couple of ideas. I'm gonna start now and show you what I have. Here is what I've come up with. So the first part is in Houdini because I don't want to work, as always, it's very important for me. I can choose the tile I want to make variant of, and I've done very simple variant, as you can see. Those variants are then gonna go into this for loop, and this for loop is gonna just take care of, not this, because this is not gonna change, it's just gonna assign a new name to them. So if I had Lake A side, now it's gonna be Lake A side var 0 and all the variants, and I export all of this. Now in Unreal, I've imported all my assets, and I've created this data asset where basically I can assign to each model, so the base model, I can assign which variant are available. In my WFC, what I can do is whenever I have a tile, I have the base mesh, which is kind of my debug mesh, and I choose a random tile in all available models based on the biome that I want to use. Now I can hit play, and here it is. We have some interesting variation. One thing that might interest you about how I did this, I wanted to have this automatically filled right because I'm a lazy ass. So I didn't want to do it in Houdini because I still want to probably have some control. If I don't like one of the model, I can remove it. So I did what you call editor utility widget, which is something that Unreal provide. Using this, you can basically create systems that are gonna create new asset or fill new asset. That's what I've done. So if in my case, I can do plane, I can take plane, as you can see it's empty, set collection, I can go to the base model, add selected, as you can see it's gonna add every selected base model, but no variants. Then I can go into variant, add selected variants. What this is gonna do in the background, it's gonna compare the name of this, find inside all those assets if there is something that starts with this name, and if there is, it's gonna add it as a variant. So it's very powerful to do this kind of thing because it really removes a lot of work on my side. Once I'm done with this, I can then tweak some stuff if I want to. So yeah, now I have some nice variation. I can add as much tile as I want, and it's not gonna add any computation to the wave function. Hey, so hello, that's me. I just wanted to give you a couple of details. So for the devlog, I was thinking maybe I'm gonna do like once a month, just because it's super annoying to do. It takes a shitload of time. I just don't get how people do that every week. So yeah, I'll keep it small. If you have any comments, any inputs, go for it. And also tell me what you want to see next. There is the spell system, there is the grid system, there is a couple of stuff about generating the enemies, also the saving is interesting. So yeah, tell me what you want to see, and I hope you liked it, and yeah, see you next time. In the meantime, here is the last spell I've added. Bye!